If you haven't done so yet, be sure to go over to the website and take part in the match predictor. It is free. The winner, the person who accumulates the most points, gets $25,000. So we've seen Shaka and Stevie take part in the match predictor today, ladies and gentlemen.
How did they do? Well, we don't know yet.
What do you mean how they do? Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, did they cope?
Well, yes, they cope. It's not difficult. Right, group stages, Craig Burley. You've got Uruguay, Egypt. You've got the host going out. Spain, Portugal, France, Peru, Argentina, Nigeria to go through. Meanwhile, we fast forward it to the other groups. You can see Brazil, Serbia, Germany. You've got Mexico going through.
Yeah, I'm not a great opponent of the Swedish team. I think they're workmanlike, and I think Mexico are better than South Korea. Yeah, but I need to explain myself.
Well, yes, you do.
I don't need to explain myself to you.
Is that part of the predictor?
No, you stand there, I'll press the buttons, and you get us off.
Right, let's start with the round of 16 then.
Yeah.
This is your knockout stages, Spain, Egypt.
Well, all the talk about Mo Salah, as you know, but fit or not, it's not going to make a difference because they're in good form.
Right, now you have to press the quarter-final bit.
So,
there you go, good.
Spain.
Right. Argentina, Peru.
No, I'm going for Peru to get through. No, not to this stage, not because they beat Scotland in a friendly recently, but because they are ranked relatively high and they came through South American qualifying.
Good,
but,
yes. Right, get on with it.
All right.
Argentina.
Well, you've got to have an explanation, right? I'm not explaining anything else.
I don't need an explanation. Right. Argentina, Peru.
Well, some might want it.
Germany, Serbia.
Shut up.
Colombia, meanwhile, taking on England.
Right, it's a difficult one.
Okay,
because I don't think both of them are very good.
Right.
But I think this might...
Stevie went for Colombia because he hates England.
It's not our job to be like that. Right, impartial. I think that'll be close. I think that's as far as England will get, clearly.
Okay.
But I'm going to go for England.
Let's go.
Did he have the same teams?
He had very... I can't
Can
remember.
I do it again?
All right, Uruguay, Portugal. You okay?
Yeah. I'm going to go Uruguay. I think it'll be very close. But I'm going to go Uruguay from that one. I think the Nigerians will get to this stage, but I think the French, under pressure, with that squad, should have enough.
Brazil, Mexico.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
No, it has to be. The Mexicans can't do it. They got out the hex. Come on.
Max has got going through to the semi-final.
Who?
Bretos.
That's Bretos. Yeah, it's, hold on, he'll get his head out the clouds again. Head's in the clouds again. Hey Max, how you doing?
Belgium against Poland.
Right, Poland. I've got Poland to get out of the group.
Right.
I'll get to this stage, but I think it'll be a struggle.
Okay.
Now, Roberto Martinez, under huge pressure, multi-talented squad. I think they will have enough to get to that stage.
Okay, let's take it through then to the quarter-finals. France against Uruguay.
Good matchup. South America against one of Europe's strong ones, but
good, thanks for that geography lesson. Great. Right. Belgium, Brazil.
Yep, that'll be the end for Belgium once again. I think we're not going to knock out Brazil.
So Brazil, France in one semi-final. Let's take it to the other side of the bracket. Spain, Argentina.
Oh, right. Now, what was it our colleague Ricardo Ortiz
Ortiz.
When Spain beat them 6-1 in the friendly? Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. A lot of positives.
Now, I'm wondering here. This is a tough one. I'm going to go, even though one of the favourites, but I'm going to go here because they've got so much talent in their team.
Wow.
I'm going to go for Argentina if it comes to this knockout.
Wow. England, Germany, meanwhile.
Oh, get on with it, man. It's as far as they're going to get. That's who I'm going to go for.
Okay, so we've got our final four then.
You know what I'm going to do, don't you?
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do.
I think the final is going to be this.
Brazil.
And
Germany.
Which
I think is what Shaka had yesterday.
I don't know. I was having a cup of tea. That's my final.
Okay, then who wins the final?
Well, last 3 months on ESPN FC, I've been consistent and I've said Germany. So I'm going to stick with Germany, even though Brazil are favourites.
Germany then to win the World Cup, according to Craig, beating England as well on the way. England are our team as we count down to the World Cup with 32 sides in 32 days. Be sure to check out the article over on the website. All the talking points. The first one you pretty much brought up was the fact that I'm not having him as a great manager yet because he hasn't pulled a team up by the scruff of the neck.
Hasn't built
Which is a strange thing to say considering he's just won his third Champions League title on the bounce.
Well, I think it's relevant.
Why?
Because he has done a great job, but he's managing a great football club with great players, and he has managed the egos fantastically well, right? There's a difference in doing that than being a great manager over a longer period of time. Like, and I mentioned two names, and I'm sure there are lots of names, but I just mentioned two. One in particular is Alex Ferguson, and the other one who's had a lot of stick is Arsene Wenger, who went into Arsenal and changed the face of the club and pulled him up by the scruff.
All right, yeah, well done. All right, OK, I get that.
Well, that's my argument.
No, I get
well, that's
that.
my argument. So why are you arguing against it?
I'm not arguing against it. I just don't know why you think it's a relevant point.
But it's relevant to those people that are going, oh, this is one of the greatest managers. It's not.
I don't think anyone is saying he's the greatest manager of all time,
I saw
surely.
a lot of people saying this guy is just fantastic.
But you can't poo-poo his achievement just saying, look, he's got great players.
When Luis Enrique was at Roma, he had a stinker. Barcelona, with Messi and all the great players.
Zinedine Zidane isn't Luis Enrique.
Wait, he did great. We're still waiting to see really how great a manager Luis Enrique is if he ever goes into another club. I think that is the same with Zinedine Zidane. If he goes and takes a club that are not sitting top of the league and haven't got the biggest budget and do need an overhaul...
But why is that even a conversation?
Because
I don't even get it.
Well, it's a conversation.
Can't you just applaud him for what he's achieved?
I did.
You did for about 2 seconds. Are you talking about scruff of the net?
Would you like it 6 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds?
I
like to put some perspective on things because people get carried away too quick. When you're looking at great managers, you're looking at people who have gone in, built, rebuilt, gone again, signed again, failed, come back, been stronger, won it all. We're talking about the Fergusons of this world.
But that's a completely different conversation, isn't it? Like, Fergie and Wenger, if you like, are very much on the upper echelon of this conversation.
If you want to have a Zinedine Zidane love-in, you can have it.
I don't want to have a love-in.
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of a Zinedine Zidane love-in, but you've got to appreciate and recognise what he's done. And yes, it's a great football team with great players, but it's 3 Champions Leagues in a row. And if it was just down to having a great team and great players, then Sir Alex Ferguson would have won it again in 2000 and then 2001. And then Pep Guardiola would have won it three seasons running. But they didn't. And I think you have to appreciate what he's done.
A great club. We don't know.
Rafa Benitez was a great club. Rafa Benitez had the same squad, couldn't get it done.
Rafa Benitez has won the Champions League and he's won La Liga with a much smaller team.
But Zinedine Zidane...
Just because you have a bunch of Real Madrid fans coming on now on social media or wherever the platform is and saying... This is proof positive that Zinedine Zidane is the best manager ever. That doesn't make it a token point or a rubbish what he's done.
I'm not listening to what some bampots are saying on social media. All I'm saying is a bit of perspective here. We don't know how good a manager Zinedine Zidane really is until he grabs something and turns it around.
But Guardiola hasn't grabbed something and turned it around, has he?
We can throw that. We could possibly throw that at him in some respect, but he did turn around Barcelona, who were struggling at the time. Now, you can throw the argument about Pep Guardiola that he's picked and choose some of the biggest clubs and the richest clubs to get the job done. I give you that. That is an argument that we could have and probably...
But it's all hypotheticals, obviously. If Zidane takes over from France, say Deschamps goes at the end of summer and leads France to the World Cup, you'll just say, well, he's got a great squad of players.
Well, that's hypothetical. I'm talking about club management here. I just like to have a bit of perspective because everybody, you know, people get carried away. He's managed Real Madrid particularly well. He's managed the egos well. He's got a lot of respect from his playing days. He got his tactics right. He worked with the roster that he had. But I would still want to see him take a job and turn the club around and really show he can manage players that haven't got the skill level that Real Madrid have. I think Ferguson did that. He did it at Aberdeen.
Oh, I don't know why you keep bringing it back to Ferguson. No one is saying that Zidane is better than Ferguson. We're just saying what is achieved has been momentous.
I'm using the fact the modern-day manager likes to pick and choose when he takes a job, when he takes a rest, and he cherry picks.
But what's wrong with that? If you've got the opportunity to do that,
that's not a great manager. That's a cherry picker.
Should Messi go and play for Crystal Palace just to prove that he can work his way up the league?
That is not a great manager. That's someone who cherry picks the richest clubs with the best players. Right, that's not a great manager.
So he should go, right, no, actually, I don't want to manage
Jose Mourinho was a great manager. He took Porto to a Europa League final.
And since then he's cherry-picked.
He did not pick. There's nobody out there cherry-picking Porto.
No, but after Porto, he's cherry-picked because of what he's achieved.
He won back-to-back European competitions, the UEFA Cup and the Champions League with Porto.
Yes.
And then he did it with Inter Milan, who weren't the greatest team, by the way, and they weren't great to watch. Great manager. Might not be the most favourable manager at the moment,
But he can cherry pick now.
Well, he can now because
of what he did at Porto.
Yeah.
And Zidane can cherry pick because he's just won 3 Champions Leagues in a row.
No, listen, cherry picking because of what you do at Porto and cherry picking because of what you do at Real Madrid is a different kettle of fish.
Julian Aron.
Sorry, Julian.
Welcome to the conversation. What do you make of this nonsense?
I think it's a fair debate. I understand, you know, some of the scepticism in a way that Craig has over where do you rank Zidane compared to other big managers. There's obviously, you know, pros and cons. I think what he's done is simply incredible because we talked about Mourinho just now. Mourinho spent 3 years at Real Madrid, didn't win 3 Champions League in a row with a squad as good as Zidane's one, for example. You know, Carlo Ancelotti spent his whole managerial career in top clubs, and yet he's still one of the greatest managers because he's been very successful, and yet he's only been at top clubs. So I think it's a bit harsh to, you know, wait for Zidane to do it at Derby County or, you know, in the French second division and get there all the way to the Champions League final. But I can see Craig's points, and I think a lot of people, even in France, share that point, saying like, whoa, let's wait a little bit more. Yeah. Let's see what he's going to do now next when he's not at Real Madrid. But I can also see, you know, Xhaka, your point. And
come on, stop setting Stop setting the fans, Julian.
It's true. What he's done is incredible. But what he's done is incredible.
Yes.
You know, loads of managers have been at Real Madrid for as long as him and haven't done what he did. So why should we, you know, underappreciate and undervalue?
No, it's not Sir Alex Ferguson. That's the problem, it seems. He's not Scottish and he's not Fergie.
It's a Scottish thing.
Go out there and shut up. Go out there and prove yourself.
Why? Why has he got to prove himself to you?
Well, it's not to me.
So who then?
Just prove yourself.
Why? It's just won 3 Champions Leagues.
Yes, we're one of the greatest clubs in the world.
But who's he proving himself to?
No, listen, all I'm saying is, to anyone who's saying, yeah, great manager, he's up. No, he's not. Like Luis Enrique, winning it with Messi, being successful. No, he's not. Not at all.
How excited should Liverpool fans be by this signing, Jules?
Oh, fantastic signing for me, Dan. I think it's exactly the kind of player they needed to play in that holding midfielder role, which I think they're really lacking. He can also play as a right back. He can play as a right midfielder as well. If you want to double up on that right-hand side, he's a very Klopp kind of player. He's young. He's for me, one of the most intelligent players in Europe right now at that kind of level. It's a great signing for them, and I really don't think they will regret paying that kind of money for him, because with him and Keita strengthening that midfield, even if they lose Emre Can, it's 2 very, very good signings.
You take a look at it, though. Liverpool got plenty of midfielders now. They're going to have to try and make way somehow. Like Keita and Fabinho kind of talk as the main starters. They're going to have to get rid of some, aren't they, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, Lallana's had his injury problems, obviously. I think he likes Henderson, obviously, the Oxys. I mean, he will. I mean, James Milner can play in so many positions. I don't know, it's a squad game, and I think if you look at the Champions League final, it was the one thing a lot of people picked up on, the difference in the benches. And I know Liverpool had some injuries, but the difference in the quality of the bench, I think that's something Liverpool will look at. But I absolutely agree with Julian. I think a couple of years ago, it looked like he was going to go to Man United, Fabinho.
Yes.
He was on their radar. It didn't happen for whatever reason. But this guy is not only quality, he's versatile, whether it be in the middle of the park or whether it be in the back four somewhere. And that's going to give Jurgen Klopp some great options.
We've got a whole summer, of course, to talk about it. Can Liverpool challenge City with a squad as it stands?
As it stands right now, I still don't think they're as good as City's. I think this Fabinho signing is a huge step in the right direction, but not to close the gap between what we saw of Liverpool this season and City this season.
I think they could do with another striker, just to back up.
And a goalkeeper.
Sorry,
But you said it was Klopp.
They definitely could do with... they need another centre-half, and Alexander-Arnold and Robertson have done well. They need a centre-half and a goalkeeper, and maybe a better backup to Firmino when he's not available. The midfield's starting to look a lot stronger, though.
How close are they to City, Jules, do you think?
I don't think that they're that far, because as we saw, they beat them in the Champions League, they beat them in the league as well. It's more the consistency over the whole length of the season, and that's why City have been so strong. But like the boys say, it's a lot down to the depth of your squad for you to be able to play so well and win all those games over 38 games, which Liverpool couldn't do this season because they didn't have enough depth of squad. When you sign Keita and you sign Fabinho, and then like they said, if you had another goalkeeper, a centre-back, maybe a full-back, and then up front as well to be the backup for that front three, then suddenly you look like, okay, even if someone is injured, even if someone is not really fit or not going through a good spell, then we've got other options, and then we can be consistent through the whole season, and then we can challenge.
Liverpool finished 4th in the league, right?
Correct.
Right, and that was with Mo Salah's amazing season.
Yeah.
Right. The big question is how consistent can he be next year? I don't think, personally, he'll get anywhere near the number he's got this year. I think he can have a good season, but I don't think we're going to see these kind of numbers again from Mo Salah. I think we have seen it from Messi and Ronaldo, but he's not at that level. As great as this was, the big concern is if he has a 15 to 20 goal season, which would still be great, who's going to plug that gap with the other goals? That's what Liverpool have to ask the question.
Hello, welcome to Extra Time. A first today, I think, Shaka. I've never seen Craig Burley crying of laughter, but it happened today. Proper tears. Our producer has lost his voice, and halfway through his segment, he told Craig to wrap it up. And you said what? He sounded like a Dalek?
He made a strange noise in my ear. He made a very strange noise in my ear, and I tried to hold it together, and then I saw you laughing because you heard it as well.
Yep.
And then I just...
That was it.
That was it.
Tears galore.
When I walked in today, he was sat in his little room on his own, obviously. Obviously on his own. And I walked in, he was on his computer as he sits there, sending about 3,000 emails that nobody reads, as usual. And apart from him. And he was just laughing, smiling, and I'm like, and he went,
Well. Yeah. So get well soon, Pete.
No, don't.
No. Would the purchase of Gareth Bale be pointless for Manchester United, given their current personnel?
Pointless?
Is that Mourinho, I suppose? Is that saying...
Is that what the suggestion is? Listen, you get the opportunity to sign Gareth Bale, you do it, regardless. Do I think Manchester United will sign Gareth Bale? That's a different question.
With the current personnel, I mean, obviously, if it's not the manager that's been pointed out, you'd be looking at Sanchez.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Martial, who they're talking about, might go. Rashford, I think, would be one, but it wouldn't come into the equation because he's better than them all.
Right.
So just the management. What?
Let's go to something that we were talking about on the show. We have to apologise, by the way, for me and Shaka continually saying that Zidane is better than Sir Alex Ferguson, which
you seem very upset about that chat in the show. It's just, I'm making a point, right? It's too much, too black and white. People get carried away too quickly.
But you're saying people as if everybody's saying it.
There's enough.
Is Zidane the best Real Madrid manager of all time? Again.
Now my nose is running.
Jules, what do you think? Zidane, best of all time?
Oh no, I struggle. I mean, as much as I love him, I struggle a bit with that. I think for a club with such history and so many great managers, even back in the 50s to more recently, I think that's a bit too early.
Jules, why does Valverde not want to start Dembele at Barca? His quality was clearly seen today against Italy.
Yeah, I just don't think that he really fits in Valverde's 4-4-2 formation that we've seen most of this season, I think, and I think probably rightly so. I don't think he's ready yet to play on the right-hand side of a flat four in midfield because he doesn't defend enough, he doesn't track down enough, and I think he's a bit lost in that formation. He's at his best when there's a front three and he plays either right or left, and he's got all that freedom, all that space to run into, doesn't really have to think about defending, there's a midfielder behind him. I think that suits him much better than the 4-4-2, and I think maybe that's why he struggled a bit under Valverde this season.
Finally, what does Craig Burley make of his former club Chelsea and their current predicament? Halts of stadium redevelopment, Hazard, Courtois and Conte have uncertain futures, and the club can't settle on a new manager. Seems a mess at the moment, doesn't it, at the Bridge?
Absolutely, and maybe one of the reasons Conte was like a few managers recently have been sort of getting upset. The bigger concern here is not who they get as manager. The bigger concern here is the issues that the owner seems to be having politically in England. The fact that he's put on hold for the time being, or put the plans on hold for the new stadium. The new stadium itself was already eating into their budget for player recruitment. That's been showed by their spending in recent years, because previously they were blowing out the water. All the clubs in England for any player, most players. They haven't been doing that in recent years, because the stadium has been taking priority. The big issue here is Mr. Abramovich's visa, his eligibility to be long-term in the UK, thus, as you would be, reluctant to spend hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not more, on a beautiful stadium, players, when your own future is up in the air. So, and it's always been the case, people have said, maybe cynically at times, but what will Chelsea do after Abramovich leaves, when he leaves? Is it going to fold like a pack of cards? Can they compete? Can they sell it to somebody else? I think it's a big concern for Chelsea going forward. What he'll do, I really don't know what he'll do, but it's a big concern.
Jules, what do you make of the predicament at Chelsea at the moment?
Yeah, I agree with Greg, with everything Greg said, and I think the problem is as well that the players can feel it. They feel it in the atmosphere, they know about the uncertainty of the future of the owner, of the future of the club in terms of the new stadium, in terms of the manager, in terms of the squad as well, who's going to stay, who's going to go, who's going to come as well, because, you know, last summer was not the greatest recruitment in the club's history, for example. So I think the players can feel that, especially the key players like Courtois, like Hazard, who are yet to sign a contract extension and who are clearly wondering what to do next.
How do you convince those players to stay when... Well, I tell you, no, you can't. You can't convince... You can't put an argument up to players that have been coveted by some of the best teams in Europe for a reason to stay, to play Europa League football without a top-class manager and with an owner who's having is in a little bit of turmoil at the moment.
Yep.
You just can't convince those players to stay. Absolutely not. And so their agents, I'm sure, will be actively looking around.
That's it then? You here tomorrow, show? No,
I'm here tomorrow. Lovely highlights, friendlies,
Loads
a lot.
of games
Great,
on tomorrow,
yeah, some great ones as well.
Not England, Nigeria.
Oh, I'm up for that.
USA.
I'm going to watch them all. Telly's galore.
Yep.
Full of it. And I'll have the producer over there talking, but nobody will hear him. Still sending emails. 7 in the morning, as he does.
My bet is the golf will be on there.
All.
Yeah, every day.
Golf.
All those TVs.
Right, all right, all right.
Every
All right.
will be the memorial.
Football friendlies, golf. Is Formula 1 on? No, it's not. IndyCar.
IndyCar. What do you feel like IndyCar?
Oh, yeah.
You watch go-karting, Craig.
It's not go-kart, it's single-seater racing.
Said you will watch go-karting.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, get it right. Single-seater racing.
I mean, England, Nigeria, I mean, the US v Ireland are a bit of Tiger Woods on the TV. Tiger it is then.
Look forward to those highlights tomorrow. Be sure to catch the...
Stevie's in, he'll cover them.
Well, he hasn't got a choice, has he? He'll just sit there caught silent.
No, it wasn't a question, it was a statement. Stevie's in, he'll cover them.